This is a video I wish I had when I started on my journey of posting on social media. Before I started on my journey, I wish I had someone sit down and explain this to me. And my YouTube videos don't get a lot of views yet, and that's okay. I don't make them to get a lot of views. I make them to help one person. And if this video can help one person, great. And I want to talk about two things in this video. And they're two pretty heavy subjects for some people. But I hope by the end of this, you get some more clarity and some more confidence in whatever it is that you're trying to do. I used to feel a lot of anxiety, even dare I say depression at a certain point in my life. And I think as humans, we all are going to experience depression and anxiety. And the thing I hate about today's generation is everyone wants you to go hop on medications and they want you to go, do this for your depression, do this for your anxiety. When reality, the way that to handle those things is to face it head on and acknowledge them as feelings, as thoughts, and be able to move forward. And I'm going to explain how to do this, and I want to explain how to turn those feelings into something positive, okay? Now, the person who has depression, the person who has anxiety, they're usually two different people. And if you feel depressed and anxious, then we have a little bit bigger of a problem to solve. But I want to go back to the point in my life where I did feel a little bit of that depression. I don't think I've ever been that much of a depressed person. But the people who I think are depressed in this life oftentimes feel lost and hopeless. Like everything is out to get them. Life happens to them, and they react towards life, and they stay stuck in this identity of being depressed. And so the first thing I want you to do, if this sounds like you, if you feel depression come on in your lifetime, is to stop labeling it as I'm depressed, because your words are so freaking powerful, okay? That every time that you say I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, you're reinforcing it in your subconscious that that's who you are, that your identity is someone who is depressed. And so the one thing that you have to be sure that you stop doing is stating out loud or saying to yourself, I'm depressed, okay? You can say, I feel sad, and I acknowledge that I feel sadness, but it's just a feeling and it's going to pass, okay? And you might be sitting there thinking, well, I can say that all I want, but the feeling keeps coming back, okay? We're gonna talk about that next, okay? Now, people who say that they're depressed oftentimes are living in the past, and people who are anxious are living in the future, okay? So when you have anxiety towards something, it usually means that your brain's trying to predict all these possible outcomes, right? And the best way I can explain someone who has anxiety is they know they're supposed to be doing something other than what they're currently doing, right? They see a life for themselves, but their current actions that they're doing, they're not in alignment with that life. And the anxiety will fade away when you start taking actions towards those things, okay? So I want to pivot back towards depression. I know, pretty heavy subjects. And I will talk about a time that I was depressed and what I did to get out of that and kind of tie these together, okay? So people who are depressed oftentimes don't know what to do, okay? And this was me. I was working a job. I was completely alone over in Arizona. I lived by myself, and my life was, I'd show up to work. I would drive an hour and a half to sit in a trailer. I didn't want to be there at all. I didn't know any of the people that I worked with. I didn't feel like I resonated with them. We didn't have the same thought processes. And then I would drive an hour and a half back. And I'd get home at like 6:30. I'd go to the gym for 2 hours. I'd have band practice every Thursday. I was in a band trying to pursue the whole music thing. And I just felt like I was going nowhere. And I just kept asking myself, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? I didn't even know what I wanted. I just knew that I didn't like the life that I was currently living. And I kept saying to everyone, I was complaining to everyone. I kept saying, I'm depressed, man, this situation sucks. What I failed to do was really take accountability for the situation I'm in. And I'm not saying, you can control everything in your life. Most people get depressed over things that they have no control over. And then you have to start acknowledging the things, that you don't have control over, and stop letting those things be a factor in your life. Because if you can't control something, you don't want to be a victim to that circumstance, okay? And so for me personally, I had to take accountability for the position I was in and say, well, I'm saying I'm depressed, but I applied to be here. I got this job. I'm not necessarily enslaved here. I can leave if I really wanted to. But then I would get in my head about, I don't even know what else I would do, because I want music to work. And if I'm not doing music, if I'm not doing my passion, I'm going to be unhappy, right? And I was like, I'm only passionate about music. How am I going to become passionate about anything else? I don't know what to do. And I felt like I couldn't force this music thing to happen. And the more I was trying to force it and make money at it, the more I disliked it. And then I was just like, I don't even know what to do. That's depression, is when you just feel freaking stuck. You are not happy with your day-to-day life. And to be honest with you, another maybe word for depression is almost kind of comfort in your bad habits, right? Where in today's generation specifically, we're consuming all of this dopamine, short dopamine all day long, and we're trading away, that long-term satisfaction and gratification for these short-term dopamine. So we have a crappy day at work, and we turn on a video game, or people turn to drinking, and all these other things that don't actually lead you towards, what you want in life. For me, it was like healthy things. It was like go to the gym, that would make me feel better. It was like, I'd go to the gym, I'd play basketball, I would do music, but nothing was really bringing me closer towards like the life I wanted, which really was freedom. Like I just wanted my time. I never really had any strong desires to be like a multi-millionaire. Like I was never sitting there at work like, man, I wish I had a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. That was never, it was just, I would do anything to have my time and just be able to chill on a Tuesday at 2 and work on things that I actually liked working on. And in turn, if I was working on, me, I know I'm gonna be super successful, but I was like, how am I gonna make money? And like, I just, every time I got to that point, I would just get, I would just pivot back and turn right back to scrolling and whatever. And then I just remember one day, man, I just like threw my phone, and I was so sick of consuming, and everything that we do in our lives just is consumption at this point. We're just constantly consuming, and I was so sick of it. I just remember throwing my phone across the room, and I was like, oh, like I have to do something. And I'm constantly seeing all these people online post on YouTube, and I'll be honest, I kind of like would hate silently, I'd be like, that guy looks lame, or like, no, like not even that. Like I would hate and be like, that guy got lucky, or like must be nice. I've said must be nice to people after I watch those videos. You're living a cool life, must be nice. And when people say that to me now, I get heated because, they don't see how much work goes into the life you currently have. They see the success. A lot of times they don't see what it takes to get there. And that's one of the things I hate when people say, but I used to say it. Okay, and so I was consuming way too much. I was living vicariously through other people, and I was living in my head more than I was living in the real world and reality. And when that happens and you get to that point, you can enter some bad depression. Your habits that you feel comfortable in are actually the things that are making you depressed, because the more that you reaffirm to yourself that you're depressed, the more you continue doing the same things that you're doing, the less you are actively working to get out of that situation. So the key to getting out of the depression part, okay, and with the goal here, I know this sounds crazy, the goal, if you're a sad person, if you feel lost, the goal is to turn into an anxious person, okay, first, all right? But you're not gonna be anxious unless you have a goal. And so if you are depressed, what I had to first do is figure out, what do I not want my life to look like? I was like, I don't want to sit in a cubicle. I don't want to work a corporate job. I do not want to be in the rat race. I don't want to retire at 60. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want my freedom. I want to move to Florida. I want to be able to go to Disney World on a Sunday and whatever, like whatever, you go to the beach, I want that. I don't want this life that I'm currently living. So I was like, okay, I know what I don't want. I kind of know what I want. And now I have to figure out how to get there. And I started breaking it down into tangible goals, okay, tangible things. So a tangible goal would be like, all right, I want my time, which means if I want my time, that means I have to be able to make money for myself. If I want to make money for myself, how much money do I actually need to live? If I just want my freedom, how much do I need? That was when I came up with the freedom number, okay? It was $3,000. That is how much I need to survive. If I can make $3,000 on the side of my job, realistically, that means if I quit my job and I do double the inputs, I should be able to make $4,000 or $5,000. So my goal is hit $3,000 a month for 2 months in a row. That is my goal, and I wrote it down. So I have a tangible goal. So now I'm like, okay, how do I make that money? This is when everything kind of changed for me. It's when I had a little goal. It's actually, it was a little goal. It's not like that unachievable, $3,000, so it's not unachievable. It's like, if I can do that, I can see some go through the net, I can start getting some confidence. So it's like, then what? How am I gonna pick a business model? This is where a lot of people get stuck, and this is where a lot of people give up, is when they pick something and they try it and they're not instantly rewarded after a week of effort, and they stop. And I was not passionate about, posting content. I was not passionate about making TikTok shop videos. I was not passionate about when I started dropshipping at first. I wasn't passionate about any of it, but I was like, I'm passionate about the goal that I have, and I will do anything that it takes. And so I put my passion of music away, and I decided to go all in on making money. And so I tried a lot of business models, and everything changed when I committed to one business model, and I dropped everything else and I allocated all focus on one thing. It was TikTok shop. Okay, it was getting good at TikTok shop and making money, because I was like, there's no way in hell if I give it the amount of effort I'm gonna give this, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be unsuccessful. I'm gonna do so much freaking volume, I'm gonna show up every single day. And I posted 3 to 5 videos every single day on TikTok shop for 5 months before I even made like my first dollar. And so I put in so much work. But the depression went away, and I started waking up feeling good. Like I would wake up at like 6:15 in the morning to drive to my job, and I'd come home, and I'd get home at like 5, and then I would work, filming videos from like 5 to 10, but I would wake up with energy because I was working towards something and I was getting somewhere. I saw the end zone, right? And I was running towards it. I think for a lot of us, we don't even know what goal we're trying to hit. And that's where we feel the most stuck, is when we're trying to hit a target. It's invisible. We don't even know what target we're trying to hit. So when I had that target and I was working towards it, I no longer felt depressed, because I knew what I was going for. I knew what I was aiming for. And the only time I ever felt anxiety was when I wasn't working towards those goals. And so it's the Friday nights, the Saturday nights when everyone else is out and I'm here working. If I'm working on the thing, I feel good. But if I'm sitting there doing nothing, I don't feel good. And this is the solve to the anxiety issue that a lot of us have in today's generation, because a lot of us know what to do. We know what we want. Actually, maybe not. I think a lot of people don't even know what they want. But for the people who know what they want, you know that you want this thing, okay? You know what life you want to live, but you feel anxious because you're not taking the steps you have to be taking, or you're not supposed to be doing these habits, but you're doing them anyways, okay? The unlock for me, the biggest unlock for me was creating more than I was consuming. And the only things that I were consuming were things that helped me create better, okay? So when it comes to social media, I would consume TikTok shop videos to learn, and then I would create my own iterations of them, okay? And so I stopped consuming sports, I stopped consuming media, I stopped consuming politics, I stopped consuming negativity from people in my life. I cut out anything negative, and I only consumed things that made me feel good. And so every single morning I'd listen to something positive. While I was at work, I'd listen to something positive, stuff that would help me shape my mindset, and my mindset became so fucking strong. I did not used to have a mindset like this, but I cannot emphasize how important having a strong mindset is in the business world. Business, entrepreneurship, making money is 90, maybe 95% mindset, all right? Because anybody can learn the skills, but the only people that succeed and win are the people who have a strong mindset. That's why I hate the statistic, like 80% of businesses fail. No, people fail. Businesses don't fail, right? Like I've had businesses fail, but it doesn't mean I'm a failure. Edison had how many freaking failures before the light bulb was created, right? And so failure is part of it, but the mindset's the thing that's going to drag you out of that failure and keep you moving, okay? And so I just developed this really freaking solid mindset where I was talking positive, and I have conversations now in these videos that I talk about this stuff. I did not used to be like this, I promise you. You can go ask people that know me in real life, be like, yeah, Danny always complained. I was that person who complained all the time. But my life got so much better and I started creating. And so that's why I urge people to create content. And if it's not content, then make art. I don't know, do something. But even business and like creating something for the world, like it just makes you feel better. All right. So if you feel anxious, stop consuming so much. Hell, delete your social medias for all I care. For me, it was unfollowing. I used to follow a bunch of like girls from college, and I'd follow these people who would party and like live these lives that like were so unrealistic. Like it was stupid. I was like, why am I following these people? These people aren't even people I want to be like. Like why am I following them? So I unfollowed like 1,000 people. I remember sitting there one day and unfollowed like 1,000 people, and I only was consuming content from people I wanted to be like, and that's when it unlocked my mind. It was like, damn, this might be possible. Shit, this is possible. right? Got my first dollar. Oh, it's possible. I got my first sale. And then I got my first $100. And that's when I really opened my eyes. I was like, oh my gosh. The month after I made my first $100 day, I had my $10,000 month. So it only took a month to go from $100 a day to my first $10,000 month. And 3 months after that, I had my first $10,000 day. And that was a pretty crazy feeling. But even to this day, I don't necessarily get depressed because I know what I want, but I do get anxious. And whenever I get the anxiety feeling, I go pull out my phone and make a video, and it fades away. And I promise you that is such a good fix. I call it move the needle, okay? When you feel anxiety, do one thing. I don't care if it's just one thing. Do one thing that moves the needle in the direction of the thing that you want. And if you don't know what you want, get out a journal, get out a piece of paper, get out a notebook, and write it down. I don't care if you got to write 10 pages, just figure out what you want and break it into a tangible goal that's achievable, and just take actions towards that. That's literally the key. I believe that's the key to doing anything you want in life, is breaking down your goal into something tangible and taking actions every single day towards that goal until you hit it, okay? You should have like a 3-year outlook goal of kind of what you want to do with your life, and don't think about that too much, have that as like your long-term vision, but you should have like a 3-month goal or a 6-month goal that you can go hit. And that's when life becomes a lot, I don't necessarily want to say easy, life's never easy, but that's when it becomes a lot more kind of fun because you're working towards something, okay? So for people who are having depression or anxiety, please pick a goal and please start working towards it, because it does alleviate. You shouldn't sit there and feel stuck. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're comfortable. You're comfortable in habits that are bringing you no closer to your goal. And so the real key to getting unstuck is becoming a new, better version of yourself that you have to become. And the only way to do that is to let go of the current version of you, which is really, really difficult for a lot of people. I see it all the time. There's a current version of myself that I have to let go to get to my, millionaire version of myself. I'm not there yet. I don't have $1 million, and until I do, I'm not the millionaire version of myself. So, I have to let go of whatever identity I currently have to get to that next level, and that's what I'm actively working on a day-to-day basis. My goal is to be the best version of myself possible, and there's a lot of habits that I have currently that I'm not crazy about. Like, I was telling my community the other day, I was like, I'm like mad at myself because I set an alarm for 6:45 and I hit snooze till 7:45. And for a lot of people, that's not even that bad. Like, to me, it's bad. If I set an alarm and I say I'm gonna get up at 6:45 every single morning that I hit snooze, I'm breaking a promise to myself, and I can't do that anymore. Last thing I'll say, I wrote something down here the other day that I want to talk about. If you're feeling stuck and you want a tangible, actionable goal, I want to give you something that you can do, okay? Give yourself a 4-step or 5-step morning routine that you do every single day that gets your mind in a good headspace. Okay, for me, personally, I get up, I drink water every single morning. I always drink a lot of water. You're dehydrated when you wake up. I drink electrolytes, okay? I will get my breakfast in, okay? It's the same process every single morning. And then I'll get a little bit of caffeine, whether that's coffee, and I take a walk, okay? And as I walk, I listen to something positive, and I get right to the gym. And I come back and I sit down and I'm ready to go. Same thing every single morning. And you have to have some routine that gets you into flow. Okay? If you have a routine that gets you into flow, and that flow goes towards your goals, I promise you, if you commit to that for 3 months, your life's gonna look different. Okay, so please commit to a goal, pick something, I don't care if it's little, make it achievable, and work every day towards it. Become that new version of yourself, because to be honest with you, life's too short to keep telling yourself you're depressed, okay? You don't want to live in that identity anymore. You don't have to live in that identity of being depressed. It's almost like people get, dare I say, comfortable being depressed. They get used to saying it to people, and then it becomes part of their identity. That's not you, okay? You're not depressed. You feel sad, but feelings are not real, okay? I know that's crazy to say, but acknowledge the feeling and then take action towards your goal. And I promise you, you're gonna feel so much better. Hopefully someone needed to see this today. If this was helpful, sub, like, comment. Yeah, thank you for watching.